How's it going? We up here running again with no drop frames today, at least. Hopefully not. Let's wave at the camera again. Yep, no drop frames today. Hopefully it stays like that throughout the whole fucking session here. Right, so what are we doing today? Today we're gonna continue with the module, as per usual. Also, I have a bit of a different audio setup today, so if it sounds a bit different, that's probably why. And also, I put on a strap. Aha. It's definitely not a good idea to put on a strap today because I'm wearing a fucking jersey. So like, you know, very, what is it? Very slippery cloth. But oh well, whatever. So the reason why though for the strap here is posture really. I kept doing the cross-legged one the whole time, and it's starting to like hurt my back a little bit. So this time we just gonna strap on and continue. Right, so what's this about? Let's see. Alternate G's and making up solos. Holy shit. We're actually gonna improvise. Gonna improvise for the first time in our lives. Let's see what's this about.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here for lesson 10. Hope you're enjoying the journey so far. Lots of exciting things coming up today. To start off with, we're going to check out the weak fingered G chord, which is just using fingers 3 and 4. Particularly useful for changing to C chord and A minor and F. So really useful at this point in your journey. And while we're at alternate fingerings, we're going to check out how to play an A chord using just the first finger, making a little bar chord. We're going to revisit the F chord and look at making chord changes to and from the F, when you should start doing that, and some of the things you're going to encounter when you do. We're then going to have a little chat about feeling the frets with our fingers. So as you're playing the chords, you know that your fingers should be right up next to the frets. So we're going to talk a little bit more about just being aware of the feelings in your fingers and when your fingers are in the right position, because you don't have to look at the guitar. One of those things often beginners wonder about is how you can play without actually looking at the fretboard, but you'll find that you can start to feel where your fingers are within the fret. It's kind of just something to think about and start to kind of develop your awareness of. We're then going to launch into a little bit more scale stuff. We're going to look at playing the C major scale now with alternate picking. Hopefully you've got it together with the all down picking and you're confident that you know the scale. So now we can focus a little bit more on using down and up picking. It's going to present a few interesting challenges. And we're also going to start using the major scale for an improvisation. So I've got a 2-minute backing track, which is how much you should be practicing for, just to get you going on. We'll talk a little bit about the basics of improvising and how you make improvising being making up your own melody using the scale over the set chord changes that are within the key. It's super fun, especially if you've not done that before. It's going to be great. We're going to have a little look rhythmically at a thing called a push. Now this is one of those things potentially a little hard for some of you to get going with. You have to get the chord changes real solid, but we'll talk about more of that in the lesson. But it's just when chords are played a little earlier than they might normally be. You change chords at a half a beat earlier, but like before a bar change. It's a real common thing that you're going to encounter, and once you're familiar with it, you can start trying to work it into your playing. And you would use it in the riff for this week, which is La Bamba. It is totally great fun to play La Bamba. A little bit tricky again. We just use all down picks for it, so we're not getting involved with the alternate picking yet, but it's a really great riff. It uses a push in La Bamba, but the chord changes also use the weak fingered 3 and 4 chord. So for many of you, well, at least my left-handed stuff, I found it just too difficult to play that song. So there's other songs that we can check it out while we develop the weak fingered 3 and 4 and work our way up to playing La Bamba. We're going to have a little look at a hammer-on exercise, which is when you play one note and hammer a finger down real hard as well. Part of the reason for that one is preparation for some stuff coming up in the next lesson. Again, I try and preempt you, give you some exercises that will make things a little easier, like the weak, little finger practice that we've done in the last lesson will help you with the
that one.
weak fingered 3 and 4 chord today, I hope. And we're going to have a look at as well some common chord progressions and how that kind of works, building on the knowledge that we had from last time of the chords in the key. So as you see, we've got a pretty full lesson ahead. Let's get stuck in.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't care. Let's do it. G chord trick to make chord changes faster. The weak finger G. The weak finger G. Oh, got a bit of a sneak peek. Alright.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we're going to check out the weak fingered G chord. It's basically a 2-finger G chord using just your 3rd and 4th fingers. For many of you, you're going to find it a little bit tricky, and that's okay. But for chord changes involving C, A minor, and F, it's a really, really useful chord grip to get under your fingers. Many times the other fingerings for G chord will be better, but when this one works, it really works. So it's definitely one to check out, and it's great for developing a little bit of independence with your little finger. So let's check it out. So this is what the chord looks like. It is literally your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the thicker string and your little finger on the 3rd fret of the thinner string. Just those 2 fingers. The other 2, you don't normally like splay them out like that. They're probably just going to hang around, but I didn't want you to get confused and think I was adding in some other notes. So that's the finger, just those 2 fingers. So the first thing is, it's going to be a bit of an awkward stretch for many of you, but it's fairly comfortable for me now. Right-handed, left-handed is a different story. But let me take you through what's going on. So 3rd finger, 3rd fret, thicker string, leaning over to mute the 5th string, so we shouldn't hear the 5th string at all. Little finger just down on the 3rd fret of the thinner string. All of the other notes should be ringing clear. Now, a couple of things that you're probably likely to find. If you put your 3rd finger down first and then your little finger, you're likely to pull the 3rd finger down a little bit, and when you do that, it sounds pretty horrible. So one of the challenges you're going to have is putting the 3rd finger down and leaving it exactly where it should while you put the little finger down. Okay, so that's challenge number 1. Another way around it is to make sure you put your little finger down first, then reach out with the 3rd finger. Again, you've got to be careful at this point not to push up with the little finger, because if you push up with little finger, again, you're going to have a few problems. Little finger will mute the 2nd string and bend the note out of tune. So one of the challenges here is to try and get the fingers to go down, to be ready and to go down where they need to in the air. We're talking about air changes we've looked at previously. Now, I mentioned already that it's a great chord to go to from the C chord. So you can see if we go C to G using 2nd and 3rd fingers, there's a lot of movement there. The whole kind of hand has to move shape or move where it's at. Whereas to 3rd and 4th fingers, you can see there's really very little movement at all required once you get these chord changes right. So to start off with, you want to be just working on getting the shape together.
Is that it?
But as soon as you can, once you can play it, you want to start working on just going from the C chord, lift it up just a little bit, move your 3rd finger over, little finger down, and change to that G chord. This is the most common chord progression that uses, or that, you know, why it's effective to use this chord fingering. So it's a really good thing to practice. I'm going to put it in your practice routine for perfect fast changes, just going C chord to this G chord and working on it over and over again, just doing the practice, trying to, you can see that my fingers are just staying in the air and then getting ready and dropping down. Of course, position is just as important as it is with every other.
Because, like, right, you want to, you know, situational stuff and all. So yeah, he's not wrong. This is good. Well, that's a good thing to know. Well, as per usual, you know, if things that we don't really have much to take in, we can just like keep going. Something like this, we just like go next. So really, I'm sure I know 5th finger A chord too. I think I know this.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we're going to check out an alternate fingering for your A chord, where we just use the 1st finger. It's going to be a mini bar. It's going to hold down 3 strings and mute 1. I found it a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I know students that pick it up real super quick, so you might be one of those lucky people who play and go, oh man, this is so much easier for me to play an A chord than that other one where the fingers are all cramped together. Or you might be like me and be like, well, the other one's kind of easier most of the time for me. give it a go and see. Do give it a bit of practice as well, because you might find it's real super difficult for a few days and then it gets easy. So I wouldn't just wipe it off if you struggle the first few days. Let's get enough talking. Let's just play this thing. So here's our A mini bar. We're not going to play the thickest string. It's an A chord. We want the A to be the lowest root note, the open fifth string. First finger is holding down the fourth string, third string, second string. Now the thinner string, some people have a joint, this first finger joint here is just the right length to be able to kind of lift up and get the open thinner string. So this one's ringing out open. Now, I don't like the sound of that most of the time, so I would choose nearly all the time to mute the thinner string. So I've got to lift my first finger up just a bit. Now, looking at the camera angle here from the front, it's not very clear about the angle of the first finger. And I should also point out that these other fingers would rarely be tucked away like that. I'm kind of doing that so you can see clearly the first finger, but when I play that normally, it would look more like this. But that looks a little confusing to have all of these fingers hovering around, but they're just sort of sitting above the strings. Okay, now I'm going to give you Justin's special overhead cam now.
Damn,
We love
overhead
a lot of
cam,
good feedback about overhead cam before, so let's get that rocking again. So there's the chord. Now you can see there, this is the knuckle that needs to come forward to be able to release that thinner string. Okay, either to mute it, like if I go like this with the finger flat down, I'm going to be playing the thinner string. So I need to move that knuckle forward a bit to mute it, and if I want it to be open, it's got to move right further forward. You can see there again the finger position for the rest of the fingers. The normal way of playing it would look like that. So the fingers would be not touching the strings, of course, but just back a bit. They'd just be hanging around. They're not going to be doing this. Okay, if they're tucked away like that, that might be kind of, it's nice and clear when I'm teaching, but that would be what it would look like when I'm playing it for real. The fingers are just hanging around at the top. The one thing you might notice when you see me playing an A chord this way is that the thumb sometimes sneaks over the top and mutes the thicker strings. Now it's something we're going to talk a little bit more about in the course, but if you find your thumb...
yeah, I also is this preference? There's a problem, right, with it too. It's like its own problem and stuff, but like I generally don't. Shit here, so yeah, I can keep going. F chord. Yeah, alright, F chord. What's this about? This is just. This the changes. Fine, but wait. Sure.
Hey, how you doing? Justin back with you today to talk a little bit more about F chord and making chord changes to it. Some of you will be finding F chord kind of playable and be itching to move on a step, which will be making chord changes to the F chord. Some of you still be really struggling, in which case I've got a few more tips for you from things that I've been learning myself in my Nitsudge practice. And the first thing of those is whether to put down the fingers first or the bar first. And I think what I've uncovered is actually the best way for me at this point is to put the bar down roughly, then put the fingers down and then readjust the bar. Okay, so definitely putting the fingers down first and then the bar I think has got a lot of merit, and that's why I'm not going to change the previous lesson about doing that. But once you've got the rough shape of it, what seems to be happening for the actual chord progressions when I'm starting to alternate F chord with another chord is that I'm putting the bar down roughly, then putting the fingers down where they should go and concentrating on their position, and then readjusting the bar to make sure that it goes in the right place. Now, this
like
looks real
that.
easy for me. You know, I've been playing this F chord for probably near on 40 years now, which is a bit scary, but you know, for me it's pretty easy this way. If you watch my videos doing it left-handed, it's definitely not that easy. I know what you're going through, okay? I know F chord is difficult. Some of you are going to find it a lot easier to put the bar down first and then put the fingers down. Others
Then
are going to find that it's easier to put the fingers
this
down
down a little
first
bit,
and
I
then
guess.
the bar. And both of those ways are totally fine. And this third method now, which is roughly putting the bar down, then put the fingers down, and then
How's that?
adjust
Does
the
it
bar
sound better?
before you do that final
Do I
stroke.
sound
All
louder?
of those things are okay. So experiment a bit and see what's working well for you. That's my only tip with the F chord, other than just practicing. For me, I'm feeling like I'm getting the F chord now in practice. Not every time, but I can kind of do it. But I'm finding chord changes very different. I have started doing chord changes though. So if you're at the point where you can kind of do the F chord, I would recommend starting now to experiment with some chord changes. The most obvious one would be C to F chord, because those two chords get played together a lot. So just practicing going from the C chord, then putting the F chord down, either
Just a
fingers
little
first
bit.
and
Yeah,
bar,
like
whatever's
that.
working for you, and give it a strum, and then lift them all off and
Yeah.
go to the C chord, which you shouldn't find too
So
difficult.
yes, we're learning the F
and then
chord.
trying to go to the F chord.
Changes practice. So C to F.
F chord to G chord is also great. We're using the third and fourth fingers G. So I'm either going F like this, and then trying to get those fingers separated to the G, back to the F, fingers, right. Trying to do that air change from the G chord, put them down. Just
The
taking
weak
it real
finger
slow.
G. We call this the
Giving
weak
your
finger
fingers
G
something to do
if
in
we use the
between
weak
the F chord
finger.
practice. So you're not just doing F and then taking
Oof.
the hand off and then
In
F.
case this is
Try
normal
now
to you.
changing to a minor to F is also a nice one. Start to look at the way your hand moves, the way your arm moves, because the more that you can observe and be kind of
Something like that.
an impartial observer of what you're doing, the more things you'll notice. If you let the baggage of like, I've got to get it right, I've got to get it right, I've got to get it fast, all of that stuff to be going on and cluttering your mind space, you're not going to get the chord as good. So you want to be kind of sitting
Exactly.
back, almost
Play
observing
slow.
someone else doing it, and taking note of what's going on, see the way that your wrist moves, where's the pressure
Just
coming
like
from, what's
that.
hard about the F
And
chord.
then we increase the speed.
Definitely for me, one of the things that I've been working on when I've been doing the practice, I've been using the
Yeah.
song Dreams
Like
by
that.
Fleetwood Mac because it's F to G all of the way through. I've been experimenting with going F major 7 to G for some of the song, then mini F to G for some of the song, and then full bar chord F to G for some of the song. But the full bar chord F to G, it's like I'm lucky if I can get to the F chord within the bar and strum it before I have to panic swap to the G. But the practice of doing that is actually really helpful, and it's definitely accelerating how quickly I can reach the F chord. So once you've got the chord and you can play it and you can get all of the notes out, I would recommend starting to work on doing a chord change as part of that little 2-minute practice on the F chord that you should be
Right.
doing at the start of your, not quite the start, but almost
C to F.
the start of your practice. You don't have to, but I would recommend it. And it depends. We're all going to be having different struggles on the journey. Some of you I know from the comments that I can see on the website, they're like, man, I can do the F chord. It's so much easier to do the big bar chord F than the mini F. Lucky you, man. That's cool. I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I'm
lucky
finding the
me.
big F chord's still quite a struggle. And
Hell
many
yeah.
of you will be experiencing that. If you are nailing it down, you want to start incorporating it into
Then I
songs
can
straight away.
continue.
Great. As soon as
Cause
you're
like-
ready with the F chord, you can start plugging it into songs. Instead of using mini F, start using big F. As soon as
Yeah,
you
I'm
can,
comfortable with
the more
it.
you practice
F.
it, the better you're going to get at it. The sooner you can start working on real songs with real chord changes that you need to use, that's where it's going to become an effective tool. Okay, it's not something that you should just want to practice forever before you start putting it into songs. You want to put it into songs as soon as you possibly can. But for many of you, that might not be it. And that's okay too. You have to be forgiving yourself and realize that F is the big hurdle. It's still pretty early days. I've given you this F chord early in the course so that you can be working on it and developing the hand strength, because I think that's the most effective way of...
Yeah, good. So again, like, I don't know if you're here before. Basically, the idea is, you know, I've learned a lot of stuff throughout the years with this guy. Not him, with a guitar. What I mean. And we're skipping through the things that I've already like know pretty well. Just going on things that I don't until we reach like new grounds. So yeah, that's that. Right, you like that idea? So I'm gonna go next. Feeling the frets. What does this mean? Whatever does this mean? How to play without looking. Right. Let's see. What's this about?
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today I want to share with you a little discovery that I've made that I probably should have realized long ago and didn't. Doing my left-handed practice, I noticed this. I was doing my kind of meditative kind of headspace practicing, observing, just trying to be open to all of the whole experience.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I'm really feeling the frets with my fingers when I'm playing the chords, and that's helping me get them in position. Now, right-handed, I don't even think about it. My fingers just go to the right spot all the time. I don't have to think about it. I can play with my eyes closed most of the time unless I do like, big jumps around the fretboard. And I was thinking a bit about how this works and what's going on, and I started noticing when I was playing left-handed that I could feel the frets. So then I started just really being open to the full experience, and this is something I'd like you to start doing, because I think it can really help you get your fingers in the perfect position for the chords without having to worry about it too much. You need to be focused on it for a little while to build up the awareness, but once you got it, you'll find that it starts working on its own. So to start off with here, I'd like you to put down a C chord, and then remove your second and third finger. So you're just left with your first finger there in the first fret of the second string. It'd be a really good idea, I think, to do this along with me so you really understand what I'm talking about. If you're trying to do it later on, it might feel a little weirder, and it's not going to be part of your practice routine. So first finger's in the first fret of the second string. In the middle of the fret, your only thing you're going to feel is the string underneath the finger. You might notice that if your finger lays down a bit too flat, that you might feel the thinner string underneath the first finger, and if it's up too high, you might even feel a little bit of that.
You're not doing anything today.
In my case, to be the fingernail, but it might be the first finger. But what I want you to do is slide it forward until you start to feel the fret. And you should start to notice
feeling the
kind of underneath where the string is. So here, in between the first string and the second string, you start...
Hold on. Do I have a close-up? I have a close-up. Look. Bam. I can feel that. Feel. Use feeling. Yeah, damn. Just like that, right.
To notice a little bit of the feeling of the fret. Now at that point,
that makes
that's
sense.
Just where you start to get the feeling. That's the perfect position for the finger. It shouldn't be on the fret. If you move the first finger so it's like right on top, you'll feel the fret above and below and the string in the middle. In fact, you'll feel the string less probably, but that's not a good position. That'll get you a kind of a buzzy muted note. That's the perfect position.
Trying to find bus tickets.
I can only just feel the fret there.
So how long?
The first and the second.
How long that you supposedly not have class?
Like toward the third.
Like 3-4 days.
But I can just feel it. So if you just even close your eyes and just move your first finger forward slowly.
Closing my eyes right now.
Until you feel that. It's like it feels like a little lump. It doesn't really feel like a metal fret. It just feels like a change in pressure as to where it is. And that will help you position your finger when you're playing a C chord. That's where it wants to be, is where you start to feel that fret. Just experience it a little.
Bro, you got a whole week off, bruh.
To what it feels like.
Scam.
It will help you know where your first finger should be. It's slowly slide up till you feel it, and that's where, and then stop. Slide it up and then stop. Get used to that very subtle feeling of the fret under the fingers. Now try it with the second finger. So where the second finger would be for the C chord, it doesn't really matter what the chord is, we're just picking on C chord because it's interesting. So then, same thing again, slide the finger forward until you just feel the fret. And it'll be subtle. It'll be really subtle. There it is. Doing it with your eyes closed is very helpful. The one thing I've been experimenting with a bit is using it to help me find the right position for the chords. You'll find that you probably have the feeling already. If you're placing your fingers well, you will be placing your fingers in the correct spot already. But this kind of training and training up your awareness will help, expand it over all of the time that you play. It's great for scales and everything. It isn't just about the fingers. So there we go. Third finger now. Just slide it up. I don't feel it as much with the third finger. Yeah, I do. It's funny. Maybe it's because there's thicker calluses on my fingers now for the right hand, or maybe it's just because I've done it for so long that it's hard for me to notice. Left-handed, I really notice it a lot more. I think it's probably because the skin's a little thinner, so I've got a little bit more awareness there. But I can definitely, there's the spot. I can just feel the fret, just ever so slightly touch the third finger. It's really good. Try with a D chord. Move to a D chord then. Just move the first finger. Oh yeah, there we go. The second finger's already right on. There's a good spot. So we're talking about something that's very subtle here. It's not something that I'd recommend that you practice. It's something that you should experiment with and then just try to observe it when you're practicing, when you're playing anything.
Feel the string, feel the
Again, it's not one of those things that I'm ever conscious of now when I play, and I don't think you should be either. But it's probably going to be helpful to have a period of a few months where you do stay aware of it, where you become focused on this one little thing to really help you develop your fingering, much like you would concentrate on your breath when you learn to meditate. But you probably don't want to be doing that forever when you meditate. It's just a thing to focus on to help you develop your awareness. On guitar, developing that level of awareness in your fingers is going to be very, very helpful, particularly for playing with your eyes closed. Not that you have to play with your eyes closed, but learning to play with your eyes closed is a very nice thing. Kind of gets you, for me, it gets me more absorbed in the music when I'm not focused on stuff, when I'm not looking at things and being distracted. I can give my full attention to the sound that's coming out of the instrument. Nearly always when I record, I'm playing with my eyes closed, or just kind of in this easy state with kind of half of it. So I'm not sure how to tell you like an exercise to do it. I just want you to spend some time exploring this idea, trying to develop the awareness of the fingers touching the fret when you play your chords, because it's going to really help you. As always, feedback is greatly appreciated, so do let me know in the comments if you're finding this very helpful, or if you're finding a little bit of a struggle. I'll do what I can to clarify and make sure that it's perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of helpful.
If you're over on YouTube, do remember on the website there are loads of cool practices that will help you in your journey, like my practice assistant. Those of you that are on the website already, well,
yeah, I mean, I guess also kind of
comes
comes with experience here with the whole
on the webpage. Bye bye.
With the whole feeling the frets thing. Again, he did say it's kind of like an experimental thing you can do, which makes sense, obviously. But yeah, it's that. Alternate picking the major scale, so like. That's the major scale, alright. So what's alternate picking it does? Let's see what's this about.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we're going to talk about alternate picking the C major scale. Now I'm really hoping that you put the time into last lesson and that you've memorized the scale and that you can play it with all down picks. If you haven't, then this isn't the lesson for you. You really need to make sure that you can play the up and down, all of the way through from memory using all down picks. Speed is not important, so just to revise, this is the scale, C major scale in the open position, using all down picks. We play the top note once. We started on the note C. We went up as high as we could in that position, the open position. Now we're going as low as we can, all the way down to the low E, back up. And we're going to finish on our C chord. So alternate picking now, we're going to start with a down pick, and then straight away an up pick on the 4th string. Down, up, down on the 3rd string.
Is that it?
And then an up, down on the
This
2nd
is like
string,
alternate picking.
down, up on the thinner
Kind of
string,
like training.
down,
If that's it, then I don't
up,
really need
straight
this.
back down again, so down, up on the
Yeah.
open string, down
It's not that I
on the
don't
2nd
need it.
string,
It's that I don't need to
up,
know this because I already know
down
it,
on the
right?
open string,
still need
up
to
on the
train
3rd
it.
string, down to the open, up again now on the 4th string, down, up, and down on the root note, up, down, up on the thicker string, down, up on the open E, down, up, down on the A string, up, down. Now you want to start doing this really, really slowly. Okay, really slowly. Like down, think about it, up, down. Don't be afraid of starting that slow. Again, it's about building certainty. So your mind knows exactly what it should be doing, and then it's going to be a lot easier to speed it up. That, I'll guarantee you'll get faster results doing it that way than you will if you go too fast and keep making mistakes. You want to go slow enough to get it perfect as you can. Practice, make it permanent, so practice perfect. Okay, don't forget that. So, one of the things that you'll find really helpful will be saying down and up out aloud. Okay, so actually going down,
Yeah, it's just,
up,
yeah.
down.
I don't know how did I fucking... what is it? I don't know how did I train this. I kind of just do it. I just do that, and then suddenly it just clicks. I don't know why, man. Maybe I am just too good. Alright, let's go next. There isn't really teaching much, just teaching like the picking technique, which is a helpful thing, but like I don't need it. Right, so let's take the bottle out. Let's go next. Without further ado, the major scale improvisation. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been waiting for. Right, so what's this about? Let's see.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we're going to learn how to improvise a solo
Hey, how you
using the C
doing,
major
Justin?
scale in open position. Doesn't that sound so boring? We're going to learn how to make up solos, how to improvise a melody. It is loads of fun. Loads of fun here.
Yes.
You've learned the C major scale. I wouldn't worry about the alternate picking thing for now. If you can alternate pick it, great. If you can't, just use all down picks. The important thing when we're improvising is that you only use the notes that you're supposed to use. In this case, the C major scale. There might be some other notes that you could use from time to time, and later on down the line, it gets a lot freer. But to start off with, when you first improvise, you want to stick with the notes of the scale. And what we've talked about in previous lessons is this idea of chords that belong to a key. And we're in the key of C, so we're only talking about using the chords C, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, and A minor. So just using those chords, if you've got a jam buddy, they could be playing any of those chords in any order, and you can improvise, i.e. make up a solo, using the C major scale. They go perfectly together. Now, at this stage, you just want to be having some fun with it. Just exploring the idea of playing the scale over some chords. It's just really good fun. And I've got a 2-minute backing track for free. Download it from the website, it's full MP3. You can play along with it. It'll also be in the practice system, of course, if you're choosing to use that. The idea is just for you to have a little bit of fun exploring the scale over the chords, but there are a few things, little tips that I can give you that'll make it a lot more enjoyable experience.
Okay.
The first one is try and just use the thinnest 3 strings.
Okay.
Okay? Maybe start off just using the thinnest string, then maybe move into using the thinnest 2 strings, then maybe the thinnest 3 strings. And the reason for this is you want to be thinking about the melody, you want to be thinking about the sound that you're making and how it fits with the backing track that you're playing over all the music that somebody else is playing if you're jamming with another human. Okay? There's a couple of other things. So that's first thing, limit the number of strings that you're playing on to start off with. That'll really make a big difference. So instead of trying to think of this huge, big scale, you're just thinking of a couple of notes. It really makes it a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. That's thing number one. Thing number 2 is that you don't want to be thinking about playing more stuff. You want to think about letting things breathe and playing a little idea that you might repeat a bit. Repetition is great when you're improvising. Don't be afraid of playing the same little bit over and over again and seeing how it changes when the chords change. Because if you play the same thing and the chord changes, the way the notes feel, what the emotion they invoke is different a little bit. So don't be afraid of just playing 1 or 2 notes and repeating it over and over again and letting the backing track kind of change how it all feels. You definitely want to be leaving some space. Let it breathe. Music is a language, and when you're communicating something, you need to leave gaps.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
If you just talk all the time and you let the notes go one after the other and you play too many of them, you don't leave any gaps and there's no punctuation, it just gets really hard to understand what it is that you're trying to say. It gets a little bit boring for the listener, and definitely after maybe 2 minutes, whoever's listening to you is just going to be completely bored. It doesn't want to be like that. You want to be leaving little gaps. Play a little bit, stop a little bit, let a note ring out, play a little phrase and then stop for a bit. You don't have to play all the time. When you're learning to improvise, it can be really helpful to stop because it lets you have a think about what you're doing. If you've just been playing on one string, it gives you a chance to think about what the notes are on the next string before you play them. It gives you the chance to think of an idea and then experiment with it and then stop again. Think of another idea, experiment with it, stop again. So don't be afraid of leaving gaps. It will make your playing sound better. And it's the biggest problem that most people have when they're learning this stuff is playing too much. A gap that feels when you're improvising at the beginning as a really big gap actually isn't to the listener. You can leave quite, a second or a couple of seconds gap. Doesn't sound bad to the listener. It feels like an eternity when you're doing it, when you're improvising with that stuff. It can feel like a real long time, but it won't feel that bad or that bad. It won't feel as scary to the listener. They'll probably quite enjoy having these little breaks as you play through. Recording yourself is also a fantastic thing to be doing, and that'll help expose that idea of playing too much. So if you've got a phone with a record function on it, improvise with the backing track and record yourself and listen back to it, or maybe even video yourself. So set up your camera so you can video what you're playing and then watch it back and listen back at the same time. That way you'll be able to see if there's anything that you're doing that's a little bit weird. Some of that stuff like open strings ringing out when you don't want, that'll become a little bit more obvious when you record yourself as well, so it's quite a helpful thing. Many advantages to recording yourself when you're learning to improvise, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get into it, you might want to try singing improvising as well. So using the same backing track and just not playing for a little while and going la 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 la. Now what this is going to do is it's going to force you to breathe. And particularly again, if you play guitar a little bit and improvise and then sing a little bit and improvise, you'll start to hear how they're different, and the singing one, generally speaking, sounds more natural and more melodic and more interesting than when you play. Because with playing,
You should just try it. Let's just try it. Now we got a whole backing track, dude. Sheesh. Okay, you know what? Let's finish this.
It'll play too much, and when you're singing, it'll force you to take a breath. Otherwise, pretty consequences are a bit heavy if you don't breathe. So that can be something that will help inform your improvising if you think about all of that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to play over that little backing track that you've got, and I'm going to start with just the thinnest string, and then I'm going to move on to the thinner string and the second string. I'm going to really emphasize the idea of repeating little bits and leaving space, the kind of thing that I'd like you to explore when you're improvising. So this isn't an example of like an amazing improvisation. It's an amazing example, I hope, of the things that you should be doing when you're learning to improvise, when you're taking your first steps into the improvisation pub. Big thanks to my friend Dave Marks, who made this backing track. I've been really crazy busy lately, and I knew I needed a backing track, so he's my partner in the Jam series of backing tracks. We've got loads of backing tracks for sale if you've never seen them before. Usually played with a whole band, real bass and drums, as is this. So I asked him, look, please mate, can you make me a 2-minute backing track for beginners to improvise over? And he came up with this. I think it sounds lovely. So do experiment with that. Like I said, it'll be a downloadable thing on the website, or it'll be in My Practice Assistant. So let me give you just a little play out for a couple of minutes, just to give you some ideas. I'll try and keep it as simple as I can. Start on the thinner string. Try and use the right fingers in the right frets. I find that really difficult to focus on that because my ear tells me, oh, I want to hear these melodies. So sometimes I find it really hard to be locked into this. But when you're starting, it's a much better idea to be very focused and locked in on a small amount of material rather than trying to play like the whole scale and use different fingers and slides and anything like that. Definitely, if you've tried it before, don't do any string bending. Definitely not, because it's a real wonky scale here in open position if you're doing that. So let's have a little improv on that. I hope you enjoy doing this. It really is, I think, a fantastic experience. If you've got the opportunity to jam with another person, get them playing those chords in any order, just make up a chord progression or a song that uses only those chords and then improvise and then swap it over and take turns in doing the soloing. It's an amazing experience, loads and loads of fun. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So just enjoy it. That's it. There's no brief. You don't have to be able to do a certain thing. Just have some fun with this for a couple of weeks.
All right. I meant strum, I think. Damn, okay, hold on. Let's try the whole thing.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
do a bit more. Okay, let's get like a cool one in. Let's get a proper cool one in there. Let's see. Let's go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Holy fuck, what did I just did? Holy shit. Bro, that was so fucking cool. Yo, clip that. Hey, yo, Cheese, come back. Clip that. Clip that, bro. Come on, come back. Clip that shit. That was so cool. Damn, right. That's pretty cool. I'm only using 2 notes. Damn, bro. Yeah. Let's go next. I know what I did there, but that's not cool. That's just garbage. Alright, let's go. Rhythm push, what's this about? The push strumming technique.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we're going to talk about the push, which is a rhythmic device where a chord is changed on the and after 4 instead of beat 1. Now, the and after 4 is an up strum. So what's happening is we're changing the chord on the up strum before a bar line. Now, let me just explain what this is to help you. Now, use the chords D to G. So, if we had a bar of D and a bar of G, say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and G, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4. That's the most, even if the rhythm was different, that would be the most common thing, would be to have that chord change there falling on beat 1. So even if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2,
Yeah.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be the most common kind of chord change that we have, is where it changes on the beat or halfway through a bar, exactly. With a push, because it's coming, the chord change is coming a little bit earlier. It feels, I always imagine it's like you get pushed in the back a little bit earlier than you were anticipating. You get lurched forward kind of thing. You end up with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Even if we get a bit faster. Learning to push, you have to get your chord changes super fast. So when you're practicing this, you have to practice it with chords that you're really confident with. Now, when I first thought about including this in the course, I was thinking for La Bamba, which is a song we're about to learn, which has got this little push in the chord progression. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. That little chord coming a little bit earlier there. It being that that's the riff that we're doing, I'm like, yeah, we're going to learn that. But actually to go from the little mini F to the G chord with the 3rd and 4th fingers.
Damn, bro,
Nick
where's your
Sudge
60
found it
bucks?
like, man,
What
I ain't doing
happened to
that.
it?
That's not working for me.
Damn, bro, he's coming
So-
back, bro.
What I would recommend that
Why
you
you
do
buy
is
the
practice
bus
up
tickets,
the
bro?
technique of this using chords that you know. I'd suggest maybe D to G to start off with, because D chord to the 4-finger G or 3-finger G, rock G, without the first finger, that one.
Shit, right?
Should be a relatively easy change for most people. You're getting a chance, fighting chance, learning to get this rhythm right. And then if you want to expand it into learning the bumper as your riff develops and you get better at playing the push and you get better at playing the 3, 4, weak finger G, those things that you need to be able to play that song, then the song should come together nicely. There are lots of different approaches to using the push, lots of different
So are you
strumming patterns.
going
but I'm
by,
gonna
like,
give
today,
you one,
tomorrow?
which I think is the
Tomorrow?
most commonly used one, and it's definitely the most effective way of learning this particular strumming pattern. So let's take a bit of a look at it. So starting on the D chord, we're going to go down, 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 up, change, up. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's our change on the and after 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 1. Okay, we're not playing on beat 1, so that's one of the other key things with the push is not playing on beat 1. Okay, that really makes the push strong. There are some songs that push and play on the 1, but they're not going to be doing that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Okay, so once we've changed to the G, we're going to play on the and after 4, which will be an up, and then we're going to play and 2, so the and after 1, then a down strum on 2, and then 3, 4, or
Camis.
3 and 4 if you want. It doesn't really
When's
matter what we do
Camis?
after that. 1, 2,
Camis in 2
3,
days.
and 4,
Good.
and
3.
1, and 2,
Today, Monday,
3,
right? Monday,
4,
3 days.
1,
Okay.
2, 3, and
What you
4,
gonna do?
and 1, and 2,
You go home, what you
3,
gonna do?
4, down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down. Yeah, maybe add the down, up, down. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, down. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. A bit faster still. 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 3. A bit faster again.
Damn.
Really effective little rhythmic
musical-
device that you
the
will
musical
see and hear
Understand.
a lot more than you probably think. Now that you're aware of what
I
it is,
said, when's
start keeping
coming
an ear out for it when you're learning songs or
3
when you're listening
days.
to new songs. See if you can figure out the songs that have got that push. When I'm teaching, very often for real beginner, easy stuff, I remove all of the pushes and I just simplify things down so that it's playable and possible for beginners, particularly at the start when you're just playing one strum on beat one every time. I want to be going into doing pushes. That would be crazy. But actually, as you learn and get deeper into the songs, you're going to start going, oh, that one's got a push in it. That sounds better with a push. One example of a song that you might have learned already is For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield, which you can play just really simply playing a down strum on the beat. But when you listen to the original recording, you'll hear very clearly that there's a push for most of the chord changes there. So that's one that you might want to revisit. And just, again, be aware of where those chord changes are, because it can really make a difference on the feel of the song when you add a push where appropriate. One thing that you might like to try if you're finding this super difficult is to practice the strumming pattern on its own. So just using your fretting hand to mute all of the strings, so you're strumming with mutes there, and then working on down, 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 up, 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 down, down, up, down. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Down, 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 up, up.
Anyways,
up, down,
guitar,
down,
exactly.
Because some of you will find that not strumming on the 1 is the hurdle. Maybe you
Yo, let's do some improvisation. Let's improvise over a track. Cheese here, let's go. Here, let's see. See what I can do with this.
1,
2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I fucked up. Check. That would have been so cool, dude. Yeah, you don't have to watch that, you listen only. Hi. How was that? That was improvising. I took a thing, I used the thing, and I do it randomly. And then you got jazz. You do the thing and now you got a genre, exactly. So that's that. So what next? This is a rhythm push. Got it. Beginner hammer-ons. Alright, let's see. What's beginner hammer-on does. All about
Hey,
hammer-ons.
Justin here. Today, I want to take you through a beginner hammer-on exercise. Now,
So
a hammer-on
what
is a technique
is
where we play
a
one note
hammer-on?
and hammer a finger down so that we hear a second note without having
that's
to
a
pick
hammer-on.
it again. Okay, that's the idea of the hammer-on technique. Now, it's quite useful for things like playing fast scales, but the reason we're checking it out is because it's also really good for adding ornamental notes to chords, which is something we're going to be checking out next lesson. So this is kind of something to get your fingers used to the idea of that before we put them actually into practice. So this is an exercise. It's a little bit dry, but it's a really good one. You're going to find it pretty tricky, I suspect. I want you to start here with your first finger in the 5th fret of the thickest string, and I want you to play that note with a down pick, and then hammer the second finger down in the 6th fret on the same string. Okay, if you just press it down, nothing will happen. You just mute the string. You have to hammer it. Aim it. It's going to have to be accurate, and you're going to have to use the tip of your finger in exactly the right spot and really hammer it down. Now we're going to be using that pattern first finger, second finger on the thickest string, and then the same thing on the 5th
Do I
string.
need to anything here? Let's see. Is there anything new?
And then the 4th string,
Hammer-on guitar
and the
exercises.
3rd string, 2nd string, thinner string, and then back. Still hammering. We're not trying to go backwards yet. It's called a flick off or a pull off. We'll be talking about that later. Now after you've done that, we're going to try and do the same thing using the 2nd and 3rd fingers, which is going to feel very, very awkward. Okay, so we'll play with the 2nd finger
Like that.
and hammer with the 3rd finger. Some of you are going to go like this and it's going to be completely off in the wrong places, or you get a no note. Don't worry about it the first few sessions, it's going to feel very hard, but we're doing the same thing. Moving it down onto the 5th string, then the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, thinner string, and then we'll go back down. I'm making this look pretty easy, but I can guarantee you, if
Damn.
you want to have a bit of a laugh, go and check out
Yeah,
Nick
I can
Sutch trying to do
hammer
this.
on.
It's nowhere near as successful.
do
and
a
then the
hammer
next
on.
up, last one for most of you, is going to be 3rd and 4th fingers. So 3rd finger.
It's
You
a
try to
good
do that with the right hand.
exercise.
It's been ages to do this exercise.
Let's go keep in mind, I
Left-handed.
guess.
This one is very difficult.
Again, like, I didn't know. I have a pretty okay hammer-on. I don't need this. I need to, like, make it good right now. Could probably, like, do better later. So let's do La Bamba riff. Right, let's go. The fun shit. The fun stuff. Let's see.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out the riff for La Bamba. It is an absolutely super fun riff for beginner guitar players. It's using the C major scale, which is something that we've been looking at already, but you'll notice it feels a little different because when you're practicing scales, the notes kind of go straight up and down, but when you're playing a real riff, they kind of jump around a little bit more, which will make it a tad more challenging. We want to use all down picks for this. It is possible to play it with alternate picking, but using all down picks gives it a lot more energy. And actually, I think it sounds better. If I'm playing it right-handed, I would be playing it with all down picks. It's not a simplified kind of a thing. There's going to be two approaches to playing the riff. The first one is just all single notes. It's a little bit easier. It's what I'd recommend that you start off with. And once you're hip with it, we can add a harmony note to a couple of the notes as part of the riff. It just sounds a little bit more slick. Really, really good fun. I'm sure you're going to love it. That's what we're going to start off with. One time nice and slow.
Anyways, this is a C major scale.
Okay, you can see there what's going on. Second and third fingers all of the way. All of the notes in the second fret are going to be played with the second finger. All of the notes in the third fret will be played with the third finger. Eventually, when we have the notes in the first fret, they'll be played with the first finger. Now, the very first little bit is leading up to beat 1. This one's falling on beat 1, so we're starting the and after 3. So the count will be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, this is the third finger, third fret of the thicker string, open A string, open 5th string, second finger, second fret, third finger, third fret. This note landing on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Then we next have second finger down, second fret of the 4th string. Then we play the open D. Then third finger going down, third fret, still on the 4th string. Second finger, second fret of the 3rd string to the open G. So there's the first part. Second finger, open, third finger, second finger, open. Count 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and again 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then we've got this little way that we link it back into the same riff again, and then this part repeats. Okay, so this bit, third finger, third fret of the thicker string, second finger, second fret of the 5th string, open D string, the 4th string, 2 picks on the 3rd fret on the D string, third finger, 3rd fret, second finger, second fret on the 4th string, and then the open D, and that leads us back to our C chord riff.
Right.
This is 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and there's our 1. The very first time we had that lead up. Okay, every other time it's to get to this starting point. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now, I would recommend that you get all of that down first of all, and when you feel confident with doing that single note thing, we're going to add in a couple of extra notes which just make it sound real nice. Okay, so when we get to here, instead of just playing that one note, we play it with the second finger. Okay, so third finger, third fret, fourth string, second finger, second fret, third string. We play those together. Still just one down pick. You just go a little bit further with the down pick motion. Leave second finger there, put first finger down on the first fret of the second string. Play those two together. Lift them off, and then you'll play the open G string and open B string, open second and third strings.
I see.
1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and
Double notes. What else is
1, 2, and
Picking hand, strumming pattern, push chords. Reeds.
let's just have a little look at the picking there to make sure that you've got the idea correct. It's all down picks. When you graduate to doing the two-note thing, the little harmonized part, still just a down pick, but instead of just playing that one note, you push through a little bit further with the pick to get those two notes. Same with this one. You're still starting here on the third string, but pushing through, play the second string as well. And the same with the open
Damn.
strings.
Damn. Damn.
So the focus of this lesson is playing the riff, trying to get it as fast as the record. I'm sure you'll find pretty challenging, but definitely something that's worth aspiring to. If you want to play the whole song, of course you're going to need some chords as well. The chords are using the pushed strumming pattern that we talked about in this lesson as well. And it also uses the weak finger G, because you're going C, F, G. That's the chords for pretty much the whole song. In order to be able to do the push, you need to get your change from your mini F chord to the weak finger G really fast. And Nitzhaj found that was just like, no, I can't do those chords fast enough. It's worth practicing, and practicing real slow if this is a song that you want to add to your repertoire. It's a great song. Everyone loves having a go at, attempting to sing in pretend Spanish, or you might find somebody at a party who can actually sing in Spanish, which is like super cool, and they're going to love showing off that they can do that. So it is a fun one to have in the bag if you're going to play at a party or something. The chord progression is just C, F, and G. So we'd start off with a C chord for two down strums, then we'd move to an F for a down up, and then we change to the G chord for up on the and after 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4. So it's exactly the pushed strumming pattern that I talked about in this lesson already. But you're going to have to just practice it nice and slow. So C, down, down to the F, down, up, change to the G, up, up, down, down, up, down. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4. If you're finding the push really difficult and you'd like to play the song anyway and you're really cool with the riff, you can of course just cut out the push. Anytime you see a push in a song, you can usually just get away with ignoring it completely. Although it just doesn't quite sound as good. So in this case you could have C, F, G, 2, 3, 4. having that push in there really changes the feel. Paired with, it's missing that energy. Even if I add in more strums, but still change on the one, it's not the same. So having a go at the strumming pattern is something that I'd recommend doing. You could either do it as part of your song practice, so spend the practice time on the riff, just on the riff itself, and then later in your practice routine you can be working on the strumming pattern. If you're learning this song independently, just have a go at whatever it is that you're having fun with. Play the riff through. Do practice it slowly and work on the time.
Nice.
It's better to be playing it slowly, like 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. That's better than going. It's really weird. When I try and deliberately make it stuttery, it's very difficult. If you want to see me like not able to play it, just go and check out the Nitso stuff where I'm learning this. It's available on the site. You can just go and laugh at me not being able to play this song at all and really struggling. But it's just such a great song for a whole heap of different things. You have to focus on string crossing while you're using your pick, so it'll help your picking hand figure out where the strings are, which is going to pay all sorts of benefits later on down the way. It's good for realizing how the scale turns actually into a song. It's good for working on your timing. It's good for working on the push. There's lots of great things about this song, which is why it's included in my beginner course. I really hope that you enjoy playing it. And if you've got any questions or problems, let me know in the comments. If you happen to be over on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button.
That was a
Really
fun
appreciate
song.
the support. See you for plenty more very soon. Well, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
And 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 4. Yeah, bro. That's pretty cool. Right. Common chord progressions. Let's see what's this about. Bam.
Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today I want to talk a little bit about chord progressions. We've talked in the past about chords in the key. So we learned that in the key of C.
What song is called the La Bamba? La Bamba. Yeah, man. Pretty fucking cool, isn't it? Yeah. Other than that, like, I don't know. This. Shit. Or maybe this. Or maybe this. Shit. Shit. Can you hear that? Can you hear the... Can you hear the azan, bro? It's kind of cool. Shit, I forgot. Can you still hear it? I need to see how much gate, how much noise gate I need. Damn, bro, I need a lot of noise gate for this. God damn, maybe I just can't. Maybe I just can't, like... I have to turn off the mic, eh? Alright, I'm learning this song. Yeah, it does. it always has the noise. But like, if you look at the video, like, you know, the song is like, yeah, because the backing track is like pretty loud. It's hard to like notice it. Damn. Ba-da-da. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, sure. You can use one from this one too. Huh. Boleh. You can use the you can use like any recording from here too if you want. Or something, I don't know. Yeah, I'll upload a few like on this channel. Damn. That's pretty cool. Shit. Dead. That's about it, really. Well, that's the only part I can do kind of well. Right. Like that. That one's pretty cool. That's hard. My hand hurts doing that. Ha. Yeah. It's all Polyphia. It's all Polyphia. Oh, there's one non-Polyphia song, I guess. Hold on. Shit. Like that? Yeah, that was pretty cool. How long have I been learning? Ever since I got this guy. Ever since so what's that? It's like been, it's almost been a month now. Yeah. I never stopped playing. I missed 3 days, I think. That's it. Only 3 days. After that, I never stopped playing. So yeah, it's almost been a month, I guess. God damn. God damn, bro. I don't know like the chorus part. Ha ha ha. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. But you know, more. Not enough Polyphia songs though. No, I'm almost like getting the worst down a little bit. I had to fix that part, but. Yeah. Wrong one. This one. That one. Right. Chord progression.
Go together. Actually,
Let's
all
see
of the
this.
notes from all of those chords belong to the same major scale, the parent major scale of the key. So in the key of C, we had C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and the B diminished, which we just don't talk about much, the runt of the family. And it's really helpful to number the chords. So C would be chord 1, first chord in the key. D minor is chord
Shit.
2. E minor is chord 3, F major is chord 4, G major is chord 5, and A minor is chord 6. Now, since music has evolved,
That didn't look
there
very
have become certain
guitar-y.
chord progressions that people use a lot that sound really good.
Guitar-y.
It's the reason they get chosen a lot. It's not like some formula that you have to stick to, but they're just really effective tools. Now, as part of this course, I want to do a little introduction to songwriting. And with songwriting, you don't need to stick to a set chord progression. You can really go completely freeform and choose whatever chords you like. In fact, some of the best songs don't use chords that are in the same key. They use weird combinations of chords, unexpected combinations of chords. That can be really beautiful. But when you're first starting out trying to write a tune, it can be helpful to have a kind of a starting point, something just to give you something to get going on. And some chord progressions, common chord progressions, you might find really helpful for that. So it's definitely worth studying them for that reason. It's also really helpful when you start learning songs on your own, when you can hear a song. You go, oh, that chord progression sounds familiar, because when you've practiced them, they will start to become familiar. You'll hear a song on the radio and think, those chords sound familiar, that movement, even if you don't know exactly what the chords are, like what key it's in, you'll start to recognize the movements of the chords, and that can be a really valuable thing as well. So what I thought I'd do is just pick 5 very common chord progressions, talk you through what they are, and then at some point before next lesson, have a go at practicing them and playing through them, and see if you can recognize some songs that use each one of the chord progressions. Okay, just a few. Just see, experiment, play them, slowly, fast, with the changes happening quite frequently or not happening very frequently. A couple of bars on each chord. Experiment. I just want you to open up this little box and go, oh, there's such a thing as chord progressions. Here's some popular ones. I might start to recognize these sounds, or I might want to use them for songwriting, or if I'm jamming with my friend and he's going to improvise using the C major scale, these would be wonderful chord progressions to do. Okay, so if you've got a jam buddy, don't be using my backing track. If you've got somebody to jam with a real human. One person plays one of the chord progressions and the other person improvises. The beauty of using a set chord progression rather than just any old chords is that the person who's improvising can start to imagine the chord that's coming up and find a melody that will go good with it. That's kind of how it works. As you progress and you get better at improvising, your ear can kind of guide you into the right note that will fit with the chords that are coming up. You can kind of anticipate what it's going to sound like. That is unlikely to happen in the early days of playing, but for sure you can aspire to having that happen. The first progression I want to mention is the 1-5-6-4 sequence. Very, very common chord progression in pop music. So many pop hits use this, and this is the one that they use for the Axis of Awesome 4 chords thing. In the key of C, which is what I'd recommend that you stick with for now, it would be C,
1-5.
G, A minor to F.
Yeah.
C, G, A minor to F. If I'm playing that, can you imagine a song that uses that? Can you sing a song that you know, a pop song, over the top? There are hundreds you could be doing the melodies that fit over that chord progression. Lovely one to improvise over. Great one if you want to get into a little bit of songwriting, experimenting later on down the way. Definitely worth exploring a little bit. Next one I want to give you is the 6-4-1-5.
6-4.
Okay, so chord 6 was A minor to 4, which was the F chord.
sad
Fine.
kind of song.
Again, really, really common chord sequence. Lots and lots of songs that will fit with that. I want you to think about the songs when you pop them in the comments on the website. Okay? Just leave if you find songs that use the specific chord progressions, let us know in the comments. See who gets the easy ones first. There's a few low-hanging fruit that you're going to know, but let's see what else we can find. I'm sure we can collectively find a ton of songs that use these chord sequences. Next chord sequence that we've got is the 1-4-5-4 sequence. Again, very, very, very common sequence would be C, F, G, F. Super common. Of course, we use the 1-4-5 chords in a different sequence for things like the blues, but this isn't a blues. This is a set chord progression 1-4-5-4. There are no rules if you're writing. Try something different too. That works as well. Okay, next chord progression 1-6-4-5, which would be C, A minor, F, G. Play it lots of different ways. I'm just trying to change the feel up a little bit so you get the idea, but
Damn.
you don't have to play a set
And
thing,
I
a
wanna-
set feel,
I wanna
set time. You could even
do a
experiment with
song.
playing in 6/8 if you want to
Imagine.
have a go at doing it. The idea
I'm
is
gonna
just
try.
to
I'm
get
gonna
used
do
to what
a
these chord
stream where I
sequences
just
sound like.
do like improvisation or
Last
whatever.
one we're going to check out uses a different
Just
chord, which is
figure
the
out
2
how
chord.
to
So we're going to
do
have 2, 5, 1,
cool
6. Okay?
riff.
Chord 2 in the
Oh, why
key
not?
of C was D minor, 5 is G, 1 is C, 6 is A minor. So we have this D minor, G, C, A minor. Again, D minor, G, C, A minor. Experiment. See what you can come up with. There's some chord progressions. These are, I think, probably the most common 5 chord progressions around. But there are many others, and it depends on the genre and the style that you want to play and all of that. But
Right.
the purpose of this lesson is just to open a new box for you
that
and go.
improv game.
Songs use chord progressions. Some are very specific for a specific song. Others are very commonly used over many songs. They're all worth learning. By learning the standard and common chord sequences is really good for your ear if you're trying to work out a song
This is
on
like the
your
kind
own
of
or
shit
trying to
that-
guess
that-
how a
that's
song
like-
goes.
this
in
is how
your
you
ear.
start
And it's also a really good starting point
to
if
like
you want to get
get
into songwriting.
to
So there's
the
lots
high
and
level,
lots of
right?
great things
That's how you
about
start,
learning
and
and
then
exploring chord progressions.
if you like start to like really look into shit, you'll see like Polyphia, right? You just see maybe. Like you really really listen carefully. They would use all of these theory as well. The only thing they did is make it complicated, right? That's how. So I think that's it. These are just song recommendation and then like a practice schedule. Yeah, that's it for today. For the stream. We've gone through this courses here. We've learned a bit of improvising, which is pretty cool. Learned a new riff. Shit. Yeah, something like that. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's how I draw people into the complexity. I mean, it's the same thing with like all the pop songs. It's like very catchy and shit. It's kind of use the same thing, right? Very what is it? A very recognizable chord progression, and then it's just very cool sound with like synthesizers and shit like that. All the mechanical sounds. Yeah, they're pretty fucking cool and all. And yeah, it's just like they all use these things. It's just we don't know how to use it. Now I know a little bit, right? Just after learning a little bit with these guys. I can understand, so it was like a C, that one of these chord progressions. Shit. Well, I don't know, like, very well, but, like, you know, the idea is to, like, you use a chord to make... something like that. It's like a melody. Like a melody over chord kind of thing. So you play a chord, right? Then you add, like, melody above it. Something like that, you know what I mean? That's like the cool shit that you learn from these things. I mean, so I'm still new to this. Going into more of it, right? Let's see the next module. This is where I am. Fingerstyle sus chords. Sus chords? Sus? And then some songwriting, yeah. So we use these tools to just rewrite Polyphia songs and learn it ourselves. It's like that, dude. That's how you fucking do. That's how you learn with like ear and shit. You know? So yeah, that's about it really. That's the end of the stream. I am among chords, yeah. We are going to end. Hold on. Oh. So yeah, basically this is what I do. Sometimes, every week, I would just bang out these Justin guitar videos, you know. Really learn and take into account like what to do and shit. So like with these practice schedules, right? It gives you what you could do with this one. So you learn the songs that you already know, and then you learn some chord stuff. And then, you know, some extra stuff. And then this is when you move on. This is, you know, it's very good, like, indicator for your progression and stuff. It's pretty nice. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this more until I can learn Polyphia songs by ear, basically. if I'm able to do that, then I know I'm like, you know, I've gotten pretty good grasp of the guitar. But yeah, that's it for now. We're gonna end the stream. You know, we're gonna like say the goodbyes and stuff. I wanna do stuff like watch videos or play guitar or take a shit. Yeah, pretty cool. So that's it for now. Right, goodbye.